applications of AI are literally all around us. But I think since most of you are educators here, you're all aware of the applications of AI. What I also wanted to discuss in today's session was to tell you a little bit about how these applications work. So for example, what does Siri use to detect the intents when you are talking to Siri, and how does it respond back? Computer recognition or number plate recognition, how does it work? How does a computer vision application work? What does a computer see when it visualizes an image? So we're going to get into, although the time is a bit short, but I take this opportunity to also share some of these nuances with you. And what we'll do is, in the last half an hour or so of the session, I would also welcome my team members, Varun and Sai, and we'll try to show you at least 6 to 7 activities and projects real time, and we'll show you what libraries we are using. We'll show you the actual code as well. So we'll try to demystify it. So you might have seen some of these applications and they might appear to you that they are very complicated to build, but we'll show you that with TensorFlow, with AWS SageMaker, with all the free tools and technologies available around us, how we can actually make these projects live, and you can actually show them in your classroom starting next week itself. So we'll show you those as well. So US election is the mood of the day or week, right? So I thought I will start with a small video. I don't know if the audio will work.
$8 an hour foremost in all of our funds has been all free of that people for that. Most of us don't get our health insurance partners to our job. What you should know is that thanks to the Affordable Care Act, coverage is better today than it was before. Women can get free checkups. You can't be in charge of more just for being to give his employees competitive capacity. It's built to reduce parents very, very hard.
Progress that has been put into small companies that we work with. I think it's real important.
So this guy is speaking and it's rendering on Obama's
America's businesses have made
We have built the technology, every technology that we use in some negative way, and so we also work towards making sure that it's not going to happen. And even one of the interesting directions is that once you know how to create something, you know how to reverse engineer. And so you can, it's one good great method for identifying edited videos versus real videos.
So as you saw, so this is in fact one of the biggest applications of AI around the world right now, where you can do synthetic audio and video and image manipulation. So the examples which you were giving were of detection and recognition. So the world has moved beyond recognition and detection. Now we are getting into manipulation stage. That how we can, there are things called as artistic style transfer, merging different images and video patterns and manipulating those. So that's where the world is now going. And as you saw that only 14 hours of video data was required to create this synthetic version of Obama. So you can imagine that you can create a video of any celebrity, of any political leader with the right background, and you can on a mass scale distribute a message and forget the fake news menace. I mean, the entire news could be run like this. I'm sure many of you have seen that in China there are a couple of channels, news channels, which are using AI broadcasters. So those level of applications of AI, and I was really amazed to see the application you mentioned, but I thought I would add on that this is where now the world is going. We have moved beyond the basic recognition and object detection and classification, which we'll also show you, but manipulation and editing and merging of different patterns is where AI is going right now.
Sir, is there any method we can recognize this video is edited or not?
So we'll come on to that. So I'm just setting the context, but I'm happy that questions are pouring in at the start itself. And I'm sure this is a photo and a quote all of you have seen, because many times when I'm having conversations, whether with educators or even in corporates, as you know, AI has been around. I mean, I know so many people who have done their PhD in AI in 1970s and 1980s, and nobody used to give them any credit. And suddenly, there is a lot of limelight and media hogging in AI, and they are almost surprised that why suddenly nobody cared about them when they did their PhD in 80s on AI and ML, but recently this interest has surged. And why it has surged? There are two broad parameters or two contributing factors. One is because large corporations like Google, Facebook, Amazon have started using them on a commercial scale, and it's become very in your face, available and evident. And second reason, can anybody give me reason why AI suddenly has gained a lot of prominence? Ma'am?
Data.
Data. You already won a t-shirt, right?
No.
Oh, so t-shirt for ma'am.
No, that was somebody else sitting here.
Oh.
Thank
Your name and your school name, please.
Pragya Gupta, Bal Bharati Public School, Bridgepur.
Great.
Anybody else? Why suddenly AI is making a lot of sense? Yes, sir.
कंफर्ट फीलिंग फॉर अ ह्यूमन,
Comfort?
कंफर्ट फीलिंग मतलब कोई भी काम करवाने के लिए इजी वे में काम हो
तो वो तो सर पहले भी था ना।
जाए। अब ज़्यादा हो रहा है, लेकिन ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट होती जा रही है।
सर ये तो आप मैं कंट्रीब्यूटिंग फैक्टर चाहता हूँ कि क्यों? जैसे इन्होंने डेटा बताया और ऐसा कोई अंडरलाइंग पैरामीटर that why suddenly the ecosystem is ready for AI applications to solve that problem. वो प्रॉब्लम है कि कन्वीनियंस चाहिए, अटेंशन स्पैन कम है, बट वो प्रॉब्लम्स पहले भी थी. अब क्या ऐसा इकोसिस्टम में हो गया कि इट्स इजियर टू डू AI? यस
सर, इंटरनेट का यूज हम इतना ज़्यादा करने लगे हैं कि कंप्यूटर हमारे ट्रेड्स को जज कर सकता है। तो हम शॉपिंग क्या कर रहे हैं, कहाँ घूमने जा रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, तो ये सारी चीज़ें अब कंप्यूटर जो है हमारे
अब क्यों कर पा रहा है? मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि जो जैसे वो मैम बैठी हुई थी, पैटर्न रिकॉग्निशन के एल्गोरिथम्स हैं, जो मैथमेटिक्स है इसकी, वो 70s 80s में लोग बना चुके हैं और वो PhD कर चुके हैं लोग, रिसर्च अवेलेबल है. बट व्हाई सडनली नाउ इट मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ सेंस एंड व्हाई इट्स गेनिंग सो मच ऑफ लाइमलाइट नाउ? वन वाज डेटा जो मैम ने बोला है, और
टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज ज़्यादा कर रहे हैं हम एज कम्पेयर टू प्रीवियस टाइम. जैसे पहले IoT डिवाइसेस नहीं होती थी, मोबाइल नहीं होता था, या फिर इंटरनेट नहीं होता था, तो सबसे पहले जो कंप्यूटर यूजर्स थे हमारे पास, फिर इंटरनेट आ गया, फिर उसके बाद हमारे पास मोबाइल पे इंटरनेट आ गया, फिर IoT डिवाइसेस आ गई. जो डेटा का कलेक्शन है बढ़ता जा रहा है, उसको मैनेज करने के लिए हम यूज AI, जो ह्यूमन बीइंग इसीलिए
तो डिवाइसेस ज़्यादा हो गई हैं एंड वी आर यूजिंग इट. सर आपका नाम?
सचिन कुमार, श्रीनगर स्कूल का
T-shirt. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I think there is a commercial drift where the business houses and the commodity marketing services have moved to have shown an inclination toward the human tendencies, understanding human tendencies, and it is a market drift. So that's why AI has always been there, but then interest has grown more because the finances are involved.
मैम आपका नाम?
Shivani Saxena, DPS person.
Any other point? So maybe most of you have covered, but I'll again talk about. So three broad contributing reasons are there. One is, as Ram said, data, connectivity and internet. I mean earlier we used to have 2G, right? When we were, most of us in the 80s and 90s. Now 5G is there. There is better connectivity, there is cheaper connectivity. Devices are affordable, everybody can afford those devices. And most importantly, the apps are there which are so intuitive to use that you are willing to share your data. Like I see so many people who would lock their Facebook profile picture, but FaceMash app में they are happy to upload their photo, So these kind of apps are available where people are ready to share more and more data. And as ma'am was referring to the fact, and probably that's what she also meant, AI algorithms are data hungry. More data is contributed to a AI algorithm, the better it becomes. So there is a concept which is called fitting of data. So if we have less training data, we would always have a problem of overfitting. And if the data set is large, we would have a better fitting. So a classical case of overfitting of data is our examination system itself. So I have studied, let's say maths in class 11, and Vice Chairman sir is also in the same class. Now both of us have gone to the same content, which is a certain set of questions and answers and videos and textbook. Now we are both given in the final exam just 20 or 30 questions. And he scores 99, I score 59. But I guarantee you that if you give me another set of 30 questions, this number might be reversed also. But imagine if in the final exam, forget the practical aspect of it, if we both were given 2000 questions in mathematics for class 11, then the score which we get, and if you give again 2000, the variance would be very less. So similar way AI algorithms work, if you give them less data, if that sample data is not representative of the entire data population, you will always run into this problem of overfitting, and that because AI is so pervasive in human life, it can have far-reaching consequences to the point of the debate of ethics and bias as well. I'm sure you might have seen that video of a white guy and a dark skin tone guy in Georgia in US few years back, where they tried to use the soap dispenser, and for the darker colored guy that soap dispenser didn't work, but for white colored guy the soap dispenser was working. So he said this technology is discriminating against blacks. But what was happening, that they had used photo sensor, not motion sensor. So their intention was right, that just use photo sensor, but they didn't imagine in the data set, because all these scientists who developed were probably in US, they were all whites. So in their limited data set in their lab, it worked, they said okay, let's deploy it. But when you go in the larger population, there are different colored people as well, then it didn't work. But imagine it, they sued the hotel itself, and damages had to be settled. So to ma'am's point of, although finance and marketing are creating a need for AI, it also creates a greater accountability on AI. So there is this whole topic of research called explainability of AI, in which you have to explain, like especially in self-driving cars, where there is a debate in the legal fraternity. You would have heard that if somebody kills if the self-driving cars kill somebody, who is going to be accountable? Whether it will be the manufacturer or the passenger or the developer. And also if there are hypothetical situations like if there is a child and there are 3 adults and self-driving car has to make a call to hit either of them because aage khai hai, for example. So which one will AI hit? 3 adults या एक बच्चा? जवान बूढ़ा? With humans it works on a subconscious level. हमारे subconscious में कुछ bias हुआ कि for example let's say hypothetically यार बच्चा जरूरी है बिकॉज़ भविष्य इसको बचा देता हूँ. But AI के केस में क्या है? या तो जिस डेवलपर ने वो AI बनाई होगी उसके bias और उसके belief system और उसकी values आ जाएगी उसमें. So that bias gets magnified, because imagine if the wrong person coded that platform और उसका thought process, उसके belief system was not correct, वो AI के अंदर embed हो जाता है. So that's a huge risk. So this is the why and what of AI, right? Now in terms of the educational context, because most of you are educators, I believe here, which classes all of you teach? If by show of hands you can tell me, class 8, 9, who's teaching?
9, 10.
9, 10, 11, 12, 11, 12 तो सेम ही है, और कुछ बाकी लोग किसी में भी हाथ नहीं करेंगे. 5, 6 को बढ़ा 8, 9. So 8 to 12 mostly you are teaching, right? Now if I talk about AI specifically, you guys would be aware that AI is now a 6th subject in CBSE curriculum specifically. All of you are from CBSE or is there anybody who is outside CBSE? 100% CBSE, right? आप कहाँ से सर? यूपी बोर्ड। आप सर? यूपी बोर्ड। यूपी बोर्ड में अभी इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं हुआ है, राइट? बट यूपी बोर्ड में नॉट यूपी बोर्ड बट यूपी के अंदर जो AKTU यूनिवर्सिटी है, अब्दुल कलाम जो पहले यूपी टेक थी, उसने AI का कोर्स एंड आई एम टीचिंग देयर फर्स्ट ईयर में 2 क्रेडिट का कोर्स कंपल्सरी कर दिया है AI। सो इट्स ओनली अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम जब यूपी बोर्ड के अंदर के आपके करिकुलम में AI आ जाएगा अगले साल। तो इट्स
रिसेंटली हमने आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का सिर्फ एक टॉपिक है बस, नॉट फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर लाइक।
करेक्ट। तो बट अब क्योंकि यूनिवर्सिटी सिस्टम में आ गए हैं तो धीरे-धीरे बीटेक की AI शुरू हो जाएगी। जैसे वाइस चेयरमैन सर ने यहाँ पे भी बीटेक की AI शुरू करा है, तो बीटेक की AI आएगा तो स्कूल सिस्टम में AI पढ़ा होना जरूरी होगा। सो वो रिपल इफेक्ट है। बट अगर CBSE की बात करूँ स्पेसिफिकली, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर फ्रॉम CBSE है, CBSE के अंदर 2 पहलू हैं AI करिकुलम के बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए। एंड because of the interest of time, I'll keep shuttling between the AI versus how AI is to be taught in the classroom, because I think for many of you that may be more relevant than how do I actually teach AI, what do I have to teach, how do I have to teach. Plus I'll make sure that we have enough time to show you the hands-on projects as well. So one aspect is from class 8 onwards, in fact 6th and 7th onwards, there is a basic curriculum of generating curiosity and intriguing the students, as sir was rightly saying. So आपने curiosity ignite कर दी in younger classes. 9th और 10th में there is a detailed syllabus for AI available, and class 11th में advanced level है, और class 12th का syllabus भी by next year आ जाएगा. So that's one aspect. Second aspect है जो CBSE ने बोला है integrated curriculum. Does everybody know about it? So probably not. So integrated curriculum में क्या है कि class 1 onwards हर सब्जेक्ट के अंदर AI को इंटीग्रेट करना है। तो आपके लेसन प्लान है, मान लो मैं ज्योग्राफी की अगर टीचर हूँ और मैं वेदर साइकिल पढ़ा रही हूँ, तो मुझे उसके अंदर सिस्टम मैप्स दिखाने पड़ेंगे, मुझे वेदर प्रेडिक्शन मॉडलिंग क्या होती है इसके बारे में उन्हें क्यूरियोसिटी इग्नाइट करनी पड़ेगी और बताना पड़ेगा कि इसमें डेटा कैसे जनरेट होता है, AI सिस्टम कैसे काम करते हैं, अर्ली वार्निंग सिग्नलिंग कैसे यूज होते हैं जो बाहर यूएस में यूज करते हैं वो फॉर हरिकेन्स, तो वो समझाना पड़ेगा। तो हर सब्जेक्ट के अंदर उस सब्जेक्ट के लिए कस्टमाइज तरीके से AI कैसे यूज होती है वो हमें अपने लेसन प्लान में इंटीग्रेट करना है गोइंग फॉरवर्ड। तो ऑल्दो इट्स अ 2-3 ईयर लॉन्ग प्रोजेक्ट जब ये ट्रांजिशन होगी, बट यू हैव टू स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग दैट AI माइंडसेट कि आपके इंडिविजुअल सब्जेक्ट में AI कैसे यूज होगा। और अगर आप खुद AI के टीचर हो, कंप्यूटर साइंस के हो, तो धीरे धीरे यू विल बिकम लाइक अ इंटरनल कंसल्टेंट इन द स्कूल टू अदर सब्जेक्ट टीचर्स। दे विल कम टू यू फॉर एडवाइस कि मैं अपने सब्जेक्ट में मैम कैसे इंटीग्रेट करूँ, या सर कैसे इसमें AI की कोई एक्टिविटी बता दो जो मैं अपने सब्जेक्ट में डाल दूँ। सो AI जो पढ़ाएगा दे विल बिकम लाइक अ मिनी सेलिब्रिटी इन द स्कूल, बिकॉज एवरीबडी विल कम टू देम। दैट्स अ फैक्ट, आई मीन जोक्स असाइड, बिकॉज आप ही को AI आता है, हर टीचर को इंटीग्रेट करना है, उसे आता नहीं है तो वो किसके पास जाएगी, आप ही के पास आएगी ना अगर आपको आता हो। सो दैट इज ऑल्सो अ मैटर ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फॉर यू, बिकॉज अगर आपके अंदर कोई बायस या नॉलेज गैप है तो वो 20x हो जाएगा। वो सारी टीचर और सारे स्कूल के सब बच्चों को वो नॉलेज गैप एम्प्लीफाई होके रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा। सो आई थिंक AI जो पढ़ा रहा है उसके ऊपर तो बहुत ज़्यादा मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और ऑब्लिगेशन है कि वो कोई भी ऐसे बायस, एथिक्स, नॉलेज गैप ना रखे, बिकॉज आप सारे सब्जेक्ट्स को इम्पैक्ट करने वाले हो गोइंग फॉरवर्ड। अगर हम सब्जेक्ट की सिलेबस की बात करें तो क्लास 8 के अंदर एक्साइट, रिलेट, पर्पस, पॉसिबिलिटी, AI एथिक्स है। इट्स जस्ट अ 12-hour कोर्स, जैसे आप यूपी बोर्ड में बता रहे हो कि इट्स जस्ट अ इंट्रोडक्शन। क्लास 8 में इतना ही, देयर इज नो डिटेल। बट अगर हम क्लास 9 में जाएं, क्लास 9 के अंदर आप देखोगे कि इंट्रोडक्शन का पार्ट तो है ही, फिर AI प्रोजेक्ट लाइफ साइकिल है। सो एनी प्रोजेक्ट लाइक वी विल शो यू सम ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट्स लेटर ऑन, उसके अंदर पूरा एक एंड टू एंड साइकिल है। problem statement definition, data gathering, data cleaning, modeling, visualization of the model, फिर evaluation of the model, model की performance, accuracy, precision, all those things are going to be taught here. Then neural network. So neural network के अंदर, as you are all aware of, कि human brain has got lot of neurons which connect and transmit information to each other through firing. So in this, the expectation is that you will tell the student that how AI, so AI has got two broad purposes if you study the theory of it. One is to complement human intelligence and create what is called artificial general intelligence or super intelligence, जो movies वगैरह में दिखाते हैं. Second and more important is to understand how human intelligence works and then try to mimic it. So if you see the complexities of general adversarial networks, reinforcement learning, they are all tuned towards how a human brain actually works, right? अब आप बोलते हो डेटा सेट ज़्यादा चाहिए, बच्चे को तो अगर आप देखो छोटे बच्चे को, उसको बहुत ज़्यादा डेटा सेट नहीं चाहिए, उसको एक बार बोलते हो ये डॉग है, अगली बार पहचान लेता है कि ये डॉग है, तो जिससे दूर रहना. बट सिंपल डॉग एंड कैट क्लासिफिकेशन करने के लिए आपको अभी एआई के अंदर 10,000 इमेज देनी पड़ती है, नहीं तो वो नहीं कर पाते, राइट? सो द मोर एंड मोर वी अंडरस्टैंड हाउ ह्यूमन ब्रेन लर्न्स and how it detects, how it creates intelligence, that if we can mimic in an AI artificial neural network, that is the expectation here to be taught. Last but not the least, and इस पे I get a lot of questions as well. Python. So there is a very thin line of difference. Many teachers, because some of them are, and some of you may be already just teaching Python in class 11th and 12th in IT, right? They always think कि बाहर से वाला. They always think that इसमें Python का component कितना है. And it's very easy. अगर आप देखोगे कि, for example, यहाँ पे आप देखोगे, out of 112 hours, 70 hours Python लिखना है. So many teachers think इसका मतलब ये है कि मुझे Python ही पढ़ाना है उसको. और अगर मैं Python ही पढ़ा दूँ तो Python वाला सब्जेक्ट हो गया. इसमें आपको Python is just a enabling language. आपको AI के प्रोजेक्ट्स Python में रन करके उन्हें सिखाने हैं. अगर आप सिलेबस देखो क्लास 9 का, it only talks about till operators. उसके बाद सारी लाइब्रेरीज हैं. जबकि आपका जो Python का कोर सब्जेक्ट है, उसमें you have to teach them each and every fundamental. But यहाँ पे you have to teach them how to use libraries. अगर आप TensorFlow यूज कर रहे हो तो आधी चीजें आपको कोड करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. So don't look at this as a कि मुझे अब इसको Python के बेसिक्स बैठ के पढ़ाने सारे. That will be a time waste for the student. In fact, class 10 में अगर आप देखोगे तो class 10 के अंदर there are 3 components of AI which have been defined by CBSE. One is data science, second is computer vision, third is natural language processing. इन तीनों के सारे मॉडल्स हैं डिटेल. अगर NLP में जाओगे तो बैग ऑफ वर्ड्स, PDIDF, NLTK, ये सारे मॉडल्स हमें पढ़ाने क्लास 11 में. इवैल्यूएशन के लिए फ्रेमवर्क्स हैं वो सारे, एंड प्रैक्टिकल वर्क इज ऑलमोस्ट 80 hours. So I just wanted to give you this context कि it's a, and if I compare this syllabus with the syllabus I have seen in UP Tech or AKTU, it's not very different. So अगर कोई स्टूडेंट 8, 9, 10, 11 and hopefully 12th में AI पढ़ेगा तो कॉलेज के फर्स्ट ईयर और सेकंड ईयर में उसको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी. So that's the level of syllabus which has been created. So this is just for everybody's reference the syllabus. Introduction to AI, domains of AI, data, CV, NLP, applications of AI, which we have been discussing and we'll show you. Ethics in AI. Ethics in AI are those examples like I gave you of the self-driving car or the photo sensor issue in the hotel. These are all the ethics and bias-related issues. AI project life cycle, I have told you that for any AI project, end to end, we have to, so documentation is very important in this. So even if, like in organizations we work with, we actually deliver AI projects as well. Whether it's a chatbot, whether it's a recognition issue, whether it's a robotic process automation, RPA-related project. End-to-end documentation is very important because skilled manpower, and I think it's an opportune time because today, sir, is having a lot of companies here for placement, and most of the jobs he was telling me, which are well paying, उसमें AI ML की skills चाहिए. Otherwise, run of the mill coding jobs, if you will see going forward, the salary expectation will be very limited. In fact, अगर आप data देखोगे reports का OECD का, they say that 40% of job vacancies in AI ML all over the world are lying vacant because lack of a manpower skill, very low. And average salary 8.5 lakh है for an AI practitioner, starting salary. So that's the kind of supply-demand gap which exists in this market. And if I talk about the way it's going to happen in next 5 to 10 years, UK government has already said that 50% of jobs, including programming jobs, will get redundant using AI. My colleague Varun will create runtime a new code which he will not code. The program on its own, the AI will on its own create an entire Python code repository on its own. It will be like a magic when you do this. So these are kind of applications already happening right now, where you do not need to explicitly code. GPT-3, have you guys heard of GPT-3? Anyone here? Nobody has heard of GPT-3. We'll talk about it as well in one of the activities. In GPT-3, it's part of something called as OpenAI network in the US, where you can simply give a text-based message to it, saying that, like HTML, CSS, we all know, right? Simple button banana. So in this, you will say, create a purple color button with submit in the center. Enter. It will render a button which the HTML, CSS. You will say create a website. It will say how many pages? 4 pages. Go on the first page, all text and voice based. First page, have a layout, 5 menu bars, home, about us, contact us. Runtime in split screen, it will create that website for you. It will create the app for you. So you do not need to know any technical skills. GPT-3 using NLP will understand what you want and it will create a repository on the fly. And this is already version 3 is out. GPT-4 is now being worked on. So these are the kind of applications. We have a project which, depending upon how much time we have, we will show you in which it can understand the entire play of Shakespeare, interpret it, and create a new play for you on similar theme within just 5 minutes. It will understand the entire play and what the plot was and create a similar theme and plot and create a new play on its own. And these are all kind of things which are practically possible. You can show in the classroom. So forget those basics of Siri and Alexa, वो तो सबको आता है. What next can you do now in the classroom is what I am here to talk about. ये सब तो बाकी टीचर और स्कूल में हो ही रहा है. Can you do something next level? And we'll talk about it. This I will not go into, but purely because since you are the teachers here of AI, there is a component of employability skills as well in these syllabus. You would have seen for 50 units in all the skill subjects. So in this 5 skills are there. I'm not sure if they are visible because of this light. One is self-management skill, ICT skills, entrepreneurial skills, green skills, and communication skills. These are common in all the units. And I'll just spend maybe 2 minutes talking about this. In communication skill, the expectation is to talk about verbal, non-verbal, writing sentences, basics of pronunciations, greetings. So think of it more like a personality development class in which you have to engage in. But what I would like you to think about is, do not treat it as a separate unit. Think how you can implement AI in this also. Because you can relate this with NLP. In natural language processing, it's all about communication, right? The chatbot or Alexa or Siri is interacting with you. Sometimes it doesn't understand what you're saying. Sometimes And it happens with humans also, right? When I'm having a conversation with you, ऐसा होता है कई बार, right? कि किसी ने बात बहुत लंबी की दी है, मैं समझ में नहीं आता, and we say what exactly are you trying to say? Same चीज AI में भी होती है. जब intent बहुत लंबा हो जाता है, so it's difficult to extract signal from noise. उस केस में how does the bot handle exception scenario? वो bot की communication skill है. So can we teach communication skills through NLP and bots lens rather than basic hello hi जो पढ़ाते हैं? Similarly, if I talk about self-management skills, can you again think of using AI in this? ICT skills में तो AI include हो ही रहा है because devices हैं. Entrepreneurial skills, can you talk about some success stories and case studies of startups who are doing work in AI? There is a startup by Andrew Mason, who was the founder of Groupon. He has created a new company called Descript, in which you can do on-the-fly editing, and anybody who has worked in this room on audio and video, podcast, or video editing using After Effects can relate to the pain of editing a video. With this AI-enabled platform, you know what you can do? You can record a video, it will generate a transcript, you can simply edit the transcript, it will edit the video and audio on its own, using just 5 hours of training data. And you can also change the mood. For example, if I am as a speaker, let's say this session is getting recorded, and my chairman sir says, you know what, Karthik's energy was very low, I want him to sound excited. He can click a button, using my tone, it will certainly make me more dramatic and animated. On the fly, just a click of a button. He can edit the script, you can run a virtual session like this. I mean, physical would require hologram, but a virtual session can be run for any speaker without them actually conducting that session. If I have trained them on their audio and video patterns, with only 10-15 hours of training data, I can create a simulated video in which you will think the speaker is talking to you, but he or she is parallelly doing multiple sessions like this. And this is all possible. This is all implemented. This is not a concept or a theory. Green skills. I am sure any of you who have seen the syllabus, there is a complete unit on UN Sustainability Development Goals and AI. AI and SDG. Everybody knows about that?
Yes, sir.
Huh? उसके अंदर there are many SDGs which are linked to environment and energy and clean tech. Can you talk about that when you are teaching them green skills? So you can see all the many times teachers talk to me say, sir AI के अंदर ये employability skills तो ऐसे डाल दिया, ये तो कोई relation ही नहीं. But वो relation बनाना ही तो skill है. Rather than teaching them that standalone, merging AI into all those components of employability skill is the real game. And that's how the student will really appreciate and remember you, because you are actually making him or her AI employable, not just generic employable. This I don't talk about. So this I really want to, and I think Dr. Vihan also touched about it, that how do you actually define AI? Many times you would have seen, जैसे आजकल न्यूज़ में आता है कि पंखा AI driven, क्यों? क्योंकि वो मोबाइल फोन से क्लिक करने पे पंखा चलता है, लाइट्स जैसे ये हाँ हाँ. So many times you would see people would retrofit or force fit AI and IoT in everything. कि ये स्मार्ट है, ये AI enabled है, you know. Washing machine में बोला कुछ और वो बंद हो गई, स्मार्ट है. So do you think all these applications are really AI, or do you think AI has got a maturity curve that some of them are examples of a low level of AI or high level of AI? What do you think? मतलब AI को कहाँ पे define करोगे? Like somebody told me once, and in fact you would have also read about it. There's something called as automated thinking or automation, and autonomous thinking and autonomous system. So what's the difference between automated system and autonomous system? T-shirts for you. Who will answer? सर
सर ऑटोमेटिक सिस्टम में जो है हम खुद से प्रोग्राम करते हैं, ऑटोनोमस में प्रोग्राम ही लाइक है सोफिया
ऑटोनॉमस, लेकिन उसको फर्स्ट टाइम तो कोड कोई करेगा ना।
Autonomous is based on machine learning.
डिफरेंस क्या है?
सर ऑटोनोमस
Automated है,
डेटा
it's own IQ.
फ्यूचर उसी डेटा यूज करके
एक ही करके, सॉरी सर आपने बोला
In automated, it has own IQ.
ओन आईक्यू ऑटोमेटेड, और ऑटोनॉमस में
Autonomous, you don't need any IQ. Just we have to give the command. It work on our commands.
ऑटोनॉमस वर्क्स ऑन आवर कमांड। नहीं सर, आपको टी-शर्ट मिली तो नहीं है, वापस ले लो। एनीबडी एल्स?
Yes, sir. So automated needs initiation, be it in the form of on or off, and autonomous works on its own. It doesn't require any sort of on or off something like initiation.
सर ऑटोमेटेड में सेट ऑफ कमांड्स जो होते हैं डिफाइंड होते हैं, लेकिन ऑटोनोमस में वो डेटा कलेक्ट करता है, उसको फ्यूचर में यूज करके फ्री विल से अपने डिसीजन लेता है।
ये सर
I think automated is when set of commands, instructions are given, we are activating the machine, what is to be done at what cost, what decision has to be taken. This is automated, giving instructions. Autonomous is enabling the machine to itself take the decision based on some parameters, or I don't know how to call it parameters, but we are enabling the machine to take its own decision. Autonomous is taking their own decisions, but it has to be, because it is a machine level thing, so it has to be based on some, backward learning or some parameters.
राइट, पार्टली ट्रू, बट आपको टी-शर्ट मिल चुकी है।
It was not for teachers.
एनीबडी एल्स? यस मैम।
So actually the difference between automated and autonomous is related to the degree of human intervention. Sir, automated and autonomous में basically the difference है it is related to the degree of human intervention. तो इसमें automated as ma'am said कि automated में intelligence का use हम लोग उस तरीके से नहीं करते जिसमें autonomous में हम लोग intelligence की बात करते हैं। तो autonomous जो है वो self defined कि वो जो हमारी तरह decision making है, but automated को हम guide करते हैं।
Partly true. See, the key difference is, and I think Shivani ma'am partly captured it. See, automation, जैसे normally if you see in any industry, right, or the, I think I have this slide over. You must have seen this slide, right? So this part where you had simple steam engine coming in was industry 1.2. 2.0 was when you had assembly line, which Henry Ford introduced. This was the automation cycle 3.2, where we had computers and whatever you program them to do, they will do it. So they were computational heavy. They had high numerical ability, and it was almost like there is a concept called rule-based decision. So you would have a rule, if then, if this happens, then execute this. So this was the genesis of automation when industry 3.0 came. In industry 4.0, when we are talking about autonomous, what we are looking at is the way humans think. So how do we execute, right? We work autonomous. There is no rule. आज मैं घर इस रास्ते से आ रहा हूँ, कल मेरा मन करेगा मैं यहाँ से ले आऊँगा। But automated system में क्या है? अगर वैसी सेल्फ ड्राइविंग कार है कि बॉस यहाँ A to B ऐसे ही जाने इस रास्ते से, डेविएशन ही लेनी। Automated systems are deterministic in nature. Automated systems are deterministic, but autonomous systems are probabilistic in nature. So what they do is, let's say, chatbots हमने use करा है, right? So in a chatbot, if I ask a question, automated chatbot, it will always give you the same response. You can ask that question 10 times. After 20 lines of conversation, you ask that question again, it will give you the default intent. But in an autonomous or an AI-enabled chatbot, for example, it captures the state of the conversation. इसी conversation को ले लो, अगर मान लो एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द सेशन मैं आपसे पूछता व्हाट इज एआई, आपका कुछ जवाब होता। सेशन के बाद मैं आपसे पूछूंगा व्हाट इज एआई, तो आप अलग जवाब दोगे ना एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग। बट अगर ऑटोमेटिक सिस्टम है तो वो सेम ही जवाब देगा कि एआई का मतलब ये होता है, दिस इज एआई। अगेन यू विल आस्क हिम, इट विल से दिस। ऑटोनॉमस सिस्टम कैप्चर्स द स्टेट ऑफ द कन्वर्सेशन कि अब बात इतनी आगे बढ़ चुकी है, 2 घंटे का सेशन हो चुका है, इट हैज लर्नड ऑन इट एंड इट इज कॉन्टेक्चुअलाइजिंग इट्स आंसर नाउ। एंड इट प्रोबेबिलिस्टिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का मतलब क्या है? लेट्स से फॉर अ क्वेश्चन देयर आर 10 पॉसिबल आंसर्स, it assigns weights to all those possible answers and that gives a weighted probability distribution. So it will always be, any AI system, if it will work, like even will show you a detection of mass, no mass activities, जो यहाँ लिखी हुई है, it will always say mass 99.42%. It will never say mass or no mass. It will say no mass 70%. It will always give a probabilistic distribution next to a outcome. That with this confidence interval, this should be the outcome. So all AI systems, all autonomous systems are probability driven. They are never deterministic in nature. And that's the biggest difference. Automated systems will always give a fixed response to a fixed question. Their answer will not change depending upon the context, like it does with us. So autonomous systems are more close to the human way of working. So overfitting I've already talked about, I'll not go into much again. Self-driving car, and I'm covering this, sorry it's not visible on top, but I have written components of AI, data, NLP and CV. See, you have to teach them at 2 levels. One is we'll talk about data, CV, NLP individually. Then what do they mean, what are the possible activities. But then specifically about CBSE if I talk about, there is a big emphasis on showing the integration of all these 3 systems also. That how do all these 3 components of AI work together in action. So for that, one of the examples which we will talk about is self-driving car. So in self-driving car, again, apologies, some of it may not be very visible because of color and the light, lamp light. But there are all these sensors which a self-driving car has, and you can go on your own as well later on, which generate a lot of data. So you can talk about the data science aspect from the sensor data perspective. It uses surround view to do obstacle detection, to do fellow passengers, pedestrians, parking signals, traffic lights. So that's the computer vision aspect of it. And in a self-driving car, there is also a component of having a voice-based interaction, where when you enter, has anybody here been in a self-driving car? So then you may not be able to relate. I was fortunate to be part of a project with Waymo, which is Google's self-driving car project in Phoenix, Arizona. And when you enter that car, and the experience is almost magical. That with the app, the car automatically stops just next to you. The doors open, you get inside, and you can interact in terms of a chatbot. Like you can say, okay, start. It will say, should I start the journey? You will say yes. It will start moving. You may say that stop at the next stoplight. It will park the car and stop. So there is an NLP component as well in that self-driving car, and computer vision data. So you can run these kind of activities where you can ask students to identify the various components of AI in self-driving car, and then make them understand how one data fits into the other. Like if you're saying stop the car, it's using NLP to understand your command, but then it also needs to see where it can stop. Because using its surround view, it needs to make sure that it's not next to any obstacle. So the passenger can also get out. So you can make them understand this interaction. This is again one of the examples. Again, I don't know how much of it you can see because of the screen. But I think the simplest example to design an AI-driven smart system, although there are smart cities which have components of AI, IoT and data analytics, but you can work with students and ask them to visualize and create a smart school. So what this smart school could possibly have using components of data, CV and NLP. So these are some ideas. These are not comprehensive by any stretch of imagination. But let's say for learning, all of you have seen digital whiteboards, right? But there are some products in US in which teachers are experimenting, wherein they will render a content here in a certain structure and format, but the student on their tablet or their device will see the content in a manner which is best suited to them, in a language they like, in a style they prefer. So real time, I am teaching here and all of you on your screens are getting different versions of that content real time. And we all can collaborate. So these are some examples. Then about administration. I am sure many of you have seen this RoboMate which moves around the floor, detects any obstacle, goes back to the charging station when it needs charging. There is also a product in which HVAC, like heating, ventilation, air conditioning, can also be monitored using AI. Like in Dubai, we did a project few years ago, where this was a study in which it was shown that for many students, the temperature of the room is a very, very big factor in contributing to their attention and engagement. It may sound silly, but it's proven that the temperature of the room has got a big impact on how comfortable and how attentive the student is. Can we do any correlation like that with learning? So for example, these are all prototypes, none of this is working in any school end to end, wherein using a camera, like in this room, I can actually figure out your attention span and how engaged are you based on your gestures, your eye movement. I know the temperature of the room, I know the parameters of this room. And I can try to do A/B testing, monitor and maneuver it and see if the engagement is dropping or increasing. So that kind of testing I can do to figure out which parameter really moves the engagement level. And this all can be done real time to analyze. There is a company called Newton with a K which tried to do a lot of it in terms of how to real time track the engagement of students and how to alter it. Similar scenario can also be applied. So the idea is to give students real life examples. If we talk about something which is done only in a best world country, or it's only possible, in an environment which they are not familiar with, they may not be able to relate to. School is something they have seen, so it can take up any process. Learning, administration, attendance. They can do a detection project on attendance. Simple face detection, right? Then the second example is shopping, because shopping everybody has done, right? So how AI and IoT can help in making the shopping experience more seamless. So most of you or some of you, has anybody visited an Amazon Go store in US? Ma'am, would you like to share your experience? Amazon Go. Go, G-O. Amazon Go, do you know? That store in which there is no tellers. Amazon Go. Does anybody know here about Amazon Go? Yes, ma'am.
And then when customer go back with the list of the options or list of the products, then automatically the tags were identified by the scanner, and then details of its And then similarly, the values of, or the, you can say the product, actually price of that product will be calculated automatically, and then the bill will generate it and accordingly.
Most of it is actually the way ma'am आपका नाम क्या है?
I'm Kalpana Sharma, sir.
From ma'am school?
From Shambhudyal Global School.
Shambhudyal Public School. T-shirt है? So this store is really amazing. It started with only in Seattle. Now it's in various states in the US. There is none in India right now. And the way manual items I have purchased, it will debit my link card, and the entire shopping experience is streamlined. There is no queuing happening. So with these, also you can show that what kind of computer vision is being used in this. Because, and the video ma'am was referring to, it also showed you scenarios in which you can pick up an item from the shelf, then keep it back. And you can do this many times, like we do when we are shopping. How does it detect that? Does it use a thermal sensor as well or not? These kind of debates and discussions you can do in the classroom to help them visualize. Because in CBSE, one of the activities which they propose is a smart home. So that's something you can start with, because in their home, everybody can, like sir is doing this innovation with his child, right? Irrigation based system using sensors and on his mobile phone. Can you do similar kind of connected devices in your home? I saw once a project a student did in the UK, wherein they connected Alexa with their home security system. So whenever you enter the house, it will detect who you are. It will tell through Alexa speaker that Karthik is at the gate. Should I open the door? And you say yes. So it will relay that information back, and the door gets automatically opened. So these kind of simple integrations in home, school, workplace, shopping, sports, which we can shape, because they will be able to relate to these applications. If we talk about sophisticated robotic process automation in a company or those kind of case studies, they will not be able to relate to it. So we have to give them examples which are around them. I'm gonna this I wanted to quickly show you, because in class 9, 10th and 11th, this is a complete subunit in itself. And this is AI in solving United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. So there are 17 goals, and you can go through it on your own, because again, I think this is not visible with this slide. It's around poverty, cleanliness, environment, equality, education, healthcare, and all the common themes which all of us are aware of. Here we have to tell them of examples that how a certain SDG can be solved using AI. So if I talk about healthcare, so I think when we started the conversation, one of the educators talked about healthcare application. I think she's not there, is it now? Diagnosis की बात करी थी हमने. Now AI is helping in prognosis. Diagnosis again done and dusted. पुरानी बात हो गई. Now AI is going to predict that you will possibly have cold and flu next week. With your lifestyle, whatever you're doing right now, and with your history, so it's getting into prognosis. And that's where the real money is, because diagnosis is almost like you already have a disease and you're figuring out what it is and you're solving it. So you still need a doctor to do that. But if you're looking at AI to help the workload of doctor, because globally doctor to patient proportion is extremely skewed, and in India it's almost worse, right? Because for one doctor you got 50,000-60,000 patients. Impossible. So can AI help in reducing the workload of doctors so that only serious cases get transmitted to a doctor? Rest can be through prognosis can be detected early and fixed in time. So AI is used in prognosis. Then there are smart bins which are used in South Korea. So there is nobody like, I'm sure if you are living in this NCR region, एक वैन आती है सुबह जो सबके घर से कूड़ा लेके जाती है. In South Korea that doesn't happen. You put stuff in your bin, those are smart bins. Whenever they reach 80% of their capacity, it automatically gives an alert, and then only the collection is done. But you just
We can even use humidity sensors for sorting out the dry and wet.
dry and wet waste.
Done it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dry and wet waste is a big problem. I don't know if anyone of you know, for waste segregation, if you're not able to do dry and wet waste segregation the right way, it's a huge cost later on in the recycling process. So that is a huge use case which ma'am has talked about. So those 17 you can go through later on. The other aspect I want to cover is AI and ethics. So there are broadly 8 key questions, and these again in your classroom would comprise of 7 to 8 sessions in themselves, wherein you talk about the bias in AI. So I gave you the examples, right, of that hotel soap dispenser. So that's a classical case of possible bias using AI. Liability. I gave you the example of self-driving car. That's a classical case of liability. That if something happens, who will be liable? Will it be AI? Will it be the company who made the AI? Who will stand in the court of law? Somebody talked about Sophia. I forgot who was talking about. Sir, imagine, so Sophia, and I had the opportunity to interact with Sophia back in 2016 when I met Hanson Robotics, which is the parent company. When Sophia gets transported from one location to the other location for a demo, it's disassembled and it's reassembled. Now Sophia also has got the citizenship for Saudi Arabia, which means technically it has rights in court of law. Forget the rights which are whatever in Saudi Arabia, but technically it has rights. When it is getting disassembled during transit, it doesn't have any entity. It is switched off. If something happens to Sophia during the transit, who will be accountable for that? Furthermore, there's a concept here called robot rights. Can Sophia go in court of law and say I was mistreated because I was disassembled and using the transit? If it is a citizen, they have the basic right to express freedom, equality, liberty, and whatnot. Can robots fight for those rights? So that's a big debate right now. That with these kind of humanoids, what kind of rights can they have? And if you talk about AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, we are talking about robots or AI having its own value system, right? So what if there was this joke, I think I read somewhere, where somebody said to AI that, AI was trying to kill the person who wrote the AI. And he said, why are you trying to kill me? He said, because you programmed me that I should kill your enemies, and I believe that you are your worst enemy. So it's a simple joke, but it's a very profound statement. That what if AI is able to really cut through the programming haze and figure out what we are trying to get done from them and create its own value framework. You would have seen this experiment which happened in Facebook in 2017, where they created multiple chatbots and they started interacting in a language which was not English. They created their own language. So how will you handle that? If AI starts to communicate with there's this big focus around the world on connected devices. Side devices connected, those pankhe, light, everything. Now, what has happened in US a couple of years back? Somebody hacked an entire city for 5 minutes because he hacked into one system and everything was connected. So, less effort for a hacker, right? I just need to hack into one system and I can control the entire city. Water, electricity, everything is being controlled through a common hub. So more concentrated, more connected devices also concentrates the risk. So how do we mitigate that risk? That's a big debate you need to have with the students in the class. Human interaction. Many people are saying that, and you would have experienced in your household also. कि सब लोग phone पे लगे हुए, right? With AI coming in, how will human interaction look like? How will children react to a world order in which you no longer need to go to a market for shopping? Everything is getting delivered. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to ask maid भी नहीं घर में robot maid काम कर रहा है. मतलब you don't need to talk to any human being, and all your needs are being met. How will a society like this function? Will it lead to more emotional and mental issues? That needs to be discussed. Employment, that's a big one. Most of the people think कि AI आ जाएगा हमें नौकरी चली जाएगी, जो partly सही भी है. But the way it needs to be interpreted is that if you are not going to upskill yourself, in 70s my father tells me when he was starting his career, जिसकी टाइपिंग स्पीड अच्छी होती थी ना, उसकी सैलरी बड़ी अच्छी होती थी. That was the first thing we used to ask. Because अगर आप चाहे मैनेजर से नीचे कोई भी लेवल पे होते थे, टाइपिंग स्पीड अच्छी होनी चाहिए टाइपराइटर पे, नहीं तो आप ऑर्डर नहीं ले सकते. That was a skill. Now if somebody only went along with that skill, वो तो 18-19 में रिडंडेंट हो गया अगर उसने कंप्यूटर पे ट्रांजिशन नहीं किया. बिकॉज टाइपराइटर का तो कीबोर्ड लेआउट भी डिफरेंट था, आपको पता है, की स्ट्रोक का पैटर्न भी डिफरेंट है, बहुत सब कुछ अलग है. Those who upskilled themselves became data entry operators in computer world. Those who did cried about it, the computer took my job. So it's your choice. It's not technology to evolve करती रहेगी. You can't say अरे इस टेक्नोलॉजी का इससे मैं redundant हो गया. आपने evolve नहीं किया इसलिए आप redundant हो गए. So if this debate ever comes in the classroom, the way to handle it is focus on upskilling and reskilling rather than thinking that somebody will come and disrupt us. We've already seen the pattern. आपको जान के सरप्राइज होगा, यूके में तो ऑलरेडी लार्ज एम्प्लॉयमेंट जो कंपनीज है ना, उसको गवर्नमेंट ने बोला है कि आप हमें प्लान बताओ रीस्किलिंग का. ऐसा ना हो कि 5-6 साल के बाद एआई यूज होने लगे और आप एकदम से आके बोलो कि भाई इतनी जॉब जा रही है. तो रीस्किलिंग अपस्किलिंग का प्लान अभी से बनाना है. That's what governments around the world are doing. And they are also taxing. So there is a concept called robot tax. कोरिया ने शुरू करा है. If you are using robot, you are reducing manpower. अब रोबोट अगर सिर्फ मानो सोफिया है, सोफिया इनकम टैक्स देगी, पता नहीं. तो रोबोट का भी एक टैक्स का कॉन्सेप्ट आया. This is Microsoft HoloLens and Azure Stack.
Always easy for me to travel across the world. And even when I do, I can't always speak the local language. What if rather language just doesn't matter for me to deliver a fantastic keynote? What if technology can help me be anywhere I need to be and speak any language I want to? Well, it can. We are bringing together the power of mixed reality and Azure AI services to create a truly game-changing experience. What you're about to see is an exact hologram of me wearing the same outfit that we recently captured in a mixed reality studio. And I don't speak Japanese, but what if I wanted to deliver my keynote in Japanese? Using Azure AI technology, I can translate my English into Japanese
Are you
and
ready?
train it to sound exactly like me. The same voice tones, the same inflections.
Then let me
Now we promise.
show you the real one.
First, let me introduce you to Mini-Me.
So he is wearing a hologram,
There she is, my
and this is
virtual
not
hologram.
virtual
And
hologram.
thanks to the power of HoloLens 2, she just floats right with me. I'm literally holding my hologram so natural. Now she's a little small, but never keynote. So let's get her up so she can do full-size Japanese keynote. Render keynote.
So she is speaking in the local language now.
私たちは最新の服を提示してきた技術を使用し、私
So this can be done parallelly in many places parallelly.